Hi there, and thanks for stopping by. Now, on my website, I've gone ahead and made a feed that feeds the latest 25 videos that I've posted to YouTube. And we'll get into that in great detail later on, but I just wanted to show you what I did, and you can watch this in high definition and just take a look at the code as I go through how it works piece by piece if you want to display your videos on if you have videos from YouTube that you'd like to display on your website. So anyway, I've called this file index.php because it's going to be the front of my website, and we're going to work on other projects, and eventually I'll change the front of my website, but you can call this anything as long as it's a PHP extension. But I'm going to real quick go over what I did here in order to display those videos. This is a PHP file, and I start with a PHP tag here and it ends down here, so it's fairly short in the middle. And what this does is I'm opening an HTML variable and opening it as empty. Now I've created a user variable, and you can skip this step and put your username right in here instead of the variable, but I use this as a user variable for a specific reason, and my username is Len Farnath on my channel. So I've created that variable, which is string user equals Len Farnath, and now I can use that variable down here. And I've created a URL variable, which is the YouTube URL that you can get the specific download information in RSS form from. So let me copy that real quick and take it over here and put it in, and you can see that I've left my variable in there, but if I need to change that variable for this to my username, which is Len Farnath. And now when I go to this, it's going to show me a RSS feed of my latest, should be 25 videos, might be 10 or whatever. I've got it set for 25. I haven't actually counted how many show up on the page. But then this, if you look at the back end, let's go view source, you can see that this is an XML document, and there are tags with arrays in these tags that tell you the information that you are going to need to use in order to put this on the front of the website. As you can see on the front of my website, I've got a title here, and it just states my last 25 videos. And it's the title of the last video, the description of the last video, time published, etc. And then I've embedded the video in there so it can be watched directly on this page. Or, let's see. There it is. And then you'll notice as you go down the line that it keeps on listing my videos all the way from the first to the 25. So, like I say, we're going to cover this in great detail in the future, but for right now I'm just going to go through the very simple steps of this script, and if you watch this in high definition and copy this script, it should work for your website. The only thing you need to do is you need to change this user equals to your channel name, and you can find your channel name by just essentially it's whatever you've named your channel. Then the next command in here is XML equals simple XML load file, and then we're going to load the URL, and the URL is this right here. So essentially you have two variables here, user and URL, and the URL is not going to change, and the user is the only thing you're going to need to change if you use this. Now we're going to itinerate from 0 to, in my case, 25. You could make this 10, 15, any number. I think 25 is the most that you can display. And then comes the SQL, or not the SQL, the PHP coding that says if this is not empty, the XML, and then we're using this pulling the array with this arrow function, entry, if that's not empty, it's going to go ahead and display the author name, etc. And author, published, and published, what I'm doing here is using some time commands on the published, and we're going to go down the line there. This would be too long if I explained everything to you, so I'm going to go ahead and explain a couple of things. how I'm getting the ID is going to have http gdata.youtube.com/feeds/API/videos, and then it's going to have a number, which is the number that exists for that video. So what I'm doing is I'm doing a string replace, and I'm taking out this entire URL here, and I'm replacing that with nothing, which is all that's going to leave me with is a video ID. And then down here is the title and the content. And then down below I've made an HTML variable, and this HTML variable, this dot right here, means append onto the HTML variable. And that's going to mean that instead of one video, the number that you iterate up here on this line between 1 and 25, that's how many videos are going to show up. And then in this HTML I've just made a div, and I've got a h3 for the title, and then I've got the content, and then it breaks, and then the author, and then the ID, which is going to give the ID and the published time, etc. Now, in order to display the video, we break that div right there, and then we do a couple of break lines that come down, and that's where your video is going to show up below. And let's go to this, and you can see there's the video. And I'm just going to explain real quick how I got to that. Let's go to YouTube, and let's go to any video on YouTube. Let's go this one right here. Okay, and now we go to share, and under share we go to embed. Now you can see under embed it's got this embed code, and this is how you embed YouTube video into your site. So we're going to copy this code. Now we're going to go back to the document here, and I'm going to show you that this is where that code is, between here and here, and let's see, end of the iframe. So I'm going to go ahead and go down 2 lines just to show you what I've taken for the embed code, and you can see that on this embed code, this is the ID of the video that I've decided to embed. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this ID out, and I'm going to put this string ID here into that code. And let's see, string ID. So anywhere that this HTML runs, it's going to put the string ID as it itinerates from 1 to 25. And this is how you embed your last 25 videos or however many videos. So let me go ahead now that I've explained that, and you can see that in here, embed ID. You don't need to change anything. The only thing you need to change if you're going to use this code is going to be this user. So let me back out of that change that I just made so that you see the code, and we'll explain the rest of it. This is a commented out test echo that I did before I did the HTML part of the document, so you don't actually need this in there. But these curly braces, they open where the HTML or the PHP starts, and they close. So these are very important to keep these curly braces in there. Use this code exactly as you see it. And then when we go down below, here's where all this gets outputted to your page. I've got an HTML tag here, I've got a head tag, meta tag here, title, and then just essentially telling the browser what type of document it is. And then I've got 4 CSS files here. Now the best way to get these 4 CSS files is go to my webpage at PHP Rocks. Excuse me, just ate. And right click on this and click View Page Source. And then you can left click this 960 CSS. Now you can see there's a folder here that says CSS. So you'll need to put these in a CSS folder. So when you save this, you're going to click File, Save Page As, and then you create a CSS folder adjacent to the document that you have. Let's go up here and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay, it's showing for a style sheet, but if I was going to do all files, you could see the index PHP, and then I've got this folder of CSS stuff. So this is where you want your CSS. Save all 4 of those files to CSS, and I'll show you how to upload those to your website. So once you've saved those 4 files that are referenced here, That's the end of our head tag, and then you have a body tag and the div class container 16. That's where this 960 CSS file comes into play. Grid 16, it's also the 960 and the reset CSS. Not sure what I've got in text and style, but they may or may not be relevant, but I just use all four of them. It's okay. And then you just put your page title, and like my last 25 videos, if you wanted to just do 10, you could just change that to my 10. And then you come down here, I've got a table that's 90% of the width of the body of the document. And I put a table row here, v-align top, and then echo this HTML, which is this HTML we've constructed to make each record show up. And then I end that table row and the table here completely. I've got a div here, and then I end the div class of 16, which is from the 960 CSS. I have this in here. You can leave it out because I've got it commented out, but if you wanted to put a footer at the bottom of your page, this is where you would include that. If you did have that footer file, you would just back over these two lines and uncomment this so that it would be a part of the document. And you just close your div, you close your HTML document, and then there you have it. So I'm gonna scroll from top to bottom slowly. And as I said, this should be on high definition, so if you look this over and copy it out, you can find this right there. And this is how I'm temporarily taking care of the front of phprocks.com, so that I can reference this in every video that I make from here on out and start to use this. Excuse me. And on the very next thing we're going to do is we're going to start dealing with feeds from a news feed. And we're going to start dealing with putting those into a database and then serving them out of the database, much like this website that I have right here. Let me go to Flora blog, and I'm just going to go to one of these stories that I've got up here. I'm going to go to the last story that I have, and you can see that this particular news feed has 89,185 searchable stories that it's scraped from 83 RSS feeds. And we're going to go ahead and build this thing here over the course of the next few days or whatever. We're also going to build a Twitter bot to tweet all of these news stories out to your followers. And in doing so, you can build a pretty good follow base in a rather quick amount of time. I haven't actually done any manual tweets off of this Twitter account, but it tweets like once every 5 minutes. And when it does, it's just picked up followers. It's got 2,479 followers, and I get about something on the order of 100 hits a day on this website, which is pretty useful. It doesn't make a ton of money, but it brings people here and it gives them something to do. So anyway, as far as making a feed for your YouTube channel, this is how you would go about doing that. And if we go back here to my video manager and take a look at my most recent videos that I've made, you can see, and I've knocked out a few today that I haven't even got views on yet. There's a PHP series on how to back up your files. Now if we go over here to PHP Rocks, you can see that that's the top one there, and after I load this one up, this will be the top one on the page, and by the time you watch this, there may be several more up there. I hope this has helped you. If it has, please comment, rate, subscribe, give me a thumbs up. I love those, and we will see you in the next video. Thanks.